Hey y'all, and welcome back to another segment here on Gems Podcast. I am the host, Miss Genesis Amaris Kemp, and with me today is Sanal Bhanu Rajan, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about who he is, and then we're going to dive into a fruitful conversation. So get ready. So Sanal Ba- Ba- Bhanu Rajan is a spiritual thought leader from India and has been on a transformative journey to create the best method for taking charge of your mind for the past 12 years. Being immersed in meditation and spiritual philosophy for his entire upbringing, he was later inspired by modern psychology to create an updated approach for mind transformation. Sanal has explored diverse schools of thought and has lived in solitary life to deeply understand these concepts. Inherited from a lineage of educators, his grandfather's public speaking skills became vital. Sanal dedicated time to share his knowledge widely. He delved into personal development, hypnosis, and communication under expert mentorship. Sanal's passion led him to speak at yoga schools and universities across India. Now he's based in Thailand. He instructs at a prominent yoga school, impacting minds worldwide. So without further ado, let's welcome Sanal Bhanu Rajan. And hopefully I pronounced your name accurately. If not, please correct me.
No, it's it's great. You are pronouncing it correctly.
Thank you. Thank you so much for just being here to share and hold space with me. And I want to allow the audience to connect with you in a fun and personal manner. And I like to do this by two options. We could either do a rapid fire 10 question game, emphasis on rapid, or an icebreaker. What are you in the mood for?
Um, Whatever you feel is more fun.
Okay, let's do rapid fire. Let's get to know you in 10 questions. We're playing rapid fire with Genesis and Sanal. Do 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 do
hmm
do. Question one. What does your name mean?
My name means power, vigor, uh, healer, things like that.
Question two. What made you choose to live in Thailand versus India or somewhere else?
Well, here where I'm living. It's just a very peaceful place. It's very beautiful. It's quiet, and there is not too much traffic, and it's just it's really free, like free in all fronts. And I like to also work with plants, um, so work with entheogens, and it's just it's a perfect place.
Okay. Three. Are you an animal lover? And if so, do you have any pets?
Yeah, I'm an animal lover. I do have a pet. I do have a girl dog. Her name is Lucky. So our son loves her so much too.
Oh, that's so cute. What type of dog is she? What's her breed?
We just adopted her from the school, from the kindergarten where my son was going, and it was actually the teacher's brother's dog, and he has left the island and it's not coming back. So it
Aw,
was so we kind of adopted her. She's
that's so
just
sweet.
1 year old, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay. So, question four. What is your favorite cuisine or food to make?
Well, my favorite cuisine, I would say, is mutton biryani, which is something of a South Indian specialty. Actually, if you the for really to have the best one, you need to actually go to a wedding, a Muslim wedding, and in in my state, and you get to have it. The difference is that the smell of the food would be just kind of spreading across kilometers. So you just It's just like an experience rather than just having the food because you bathe in on the aroma for hours before you actually have it.
So your mouth is already watering and salivating for some goodness.
Yeah, yeah, you do have like a tremendous level of appreciation already kind of developed by that point. Yeah.
Nice. Question 5. You mentioned that you were married earlier. Where is your wife originally from?
Well, my wife is from US, from Texas, Dallas,
Oh,
Texas.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Another Texan. Okay. So, question 6. What languages do you speak?
Um, I speak my native language and I can understand Hindi and some other because India has many languages. So I do understand some of the neighboring states' languages too. I can understand to varying degrees and can maybe respond with some rudimentary skills. But I would say mainly English and my native language, Malayalam. That's it.
Okay, nice. No, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself. Can you teach us how to say good morning in your native language?
Good morning.
Yes.
Uh, Shubha Dinam. Shub,
Supta,
Shubha,
supa,
Shu, Sa. Yeah, Shubha
supa,
Dinam.
dinam.
Yeah,
Supa,
Dinam means
dinam.
day. Yeah, Shubha means like, yeah, beautiful day, good day.
Okay. Now the next ones are going to be rapid. Okay. So question 7. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color, I would say, is golden, golden yellow. Yeah,
Golden yellow. Okay. 8. Would you rather a dream house or a dream car?
a dream house.
9. If you had 24 to 72 hours to trade places with anyone in the world, would you trade places or remain yourself?
I would not trade places because I don't exactly know where I am going to go with this, and I don't want to miss out. What if it's better? Because the other one I already know where it has ended, right? Most of it, or I don't know. Just it can be an interesting question, but I kind of would still cash in on me. I would bet on myself.
Okay. And question 10. It is our bonus question. And here are the rules. If you pass, our roles reverse, and you can ask me a question. If you play, I ask one last question to wrap up rapid fire. So are you passing or playing?
Um, I'm I don't have such a fun question coming to my head, so I'm feeling like I might um I'm indecisive,
Okay,
actually.
let's
So
play then. Okay, so the last question here. You get to pick anyone to have lunch or dinner with, past or present. Who are you sharing a meal with?
I would maybe because of just a recent watching of the episodes of The Crown, I would prefer to have like a dinner with Diana, Princess Diana, if she was uh, like before when she was alive.
That is not. And thank you for playing Rapid Fire with Genesis. So,
Hmm.
y'all, I hope you learned a little bit more about who Sanal is. Now we're going to zap on over to the work that he's doing now. So, you speak on effective communication skills and leveraging language patterns. How do you help others truly leverage those language patterns to effectively communicate? And when I say effectively communicate, what we're doing now is communicating, but if we were just having a conversation and you were talking and I wasn't listening intently, but I was listening to respond, then I'm missing the mere point of communication. So
Mm-hmm.
can you share with the world what you mean about leveraging those language patterns to effectively communicate?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, the study of language is called semantics. Semantics is just the general word for it. So, it's about developing or cultivating a good semantic repertoire, meaning the semantics that you have up here is what we use. Otherwise, we all would be speaking in same way, but we don't because we all have different repertoire of semantics to us. And some of the habitual usage of the semantics can be very disempowering. So, for example, some people they get up and ask themselves question, what should I be doing today? Or what should I do today? You know, what do I have to do today? And instantly they start to feel this disempowerment right away because of the semantics in it. The semantics already convey that they are a victim of circumstance or they are not free in a way or create too much of weight of responsibility because what do I have to do today? Like having is all about it start to get heavy. Oh, I have to do this today. I have to do that today. Oh, I have done this. Oh my God, I have that thing waiting for me. So you start to feel really heavy, you know, as opposed to you change the semantics and upgrade it into I choose, you know, I choose to do this today. You see, either semantics have a different feeling to it, you know. What would I love to do today? Yeah. What would I enjoy doing today? You see, these questions they carry um, completely different lightness to it, and you would be happy to do those things, you know. But whereas you create obligation and demand and impose rules upon you by using this kind of have and should and must and all of these kind of words, then that's when you have a bad semantic repertoire, you know, and that's just one of the example I'm just kind of pointing out there.
Okay, so would
Yeah.
you say someone who lives by their calendar, y'all, I am guilty. So if I say, okay, based on my calendar, I have to do X, Y, and Z, you're saying, okay, replace have or based on my calendar, I choose to do X, Y, and Z in order
Yeah.
to show myself that I am following my personal boundaries and I'm respecting myself and I'm not putting anything else into my schedule that does not serve me or that causes me to feel weighed down and heavy. Would you say that's a good
Yeah.
example?
Yeah. If you want to sum what you said in a simple word, we can say it's about you feeling in your power. Because when do you ever have the capacity to choose anything? When you have power. If you don't have any power, you don't have a choice. you know so when we are like absolutely powerless, when that's when we are choiceless in a matter, in a situation, and that's when we feel like a victim also. So being in power comes with having choices. If I have more power, that means I have even more choices, right? So that's the thing. With power comes choice. So when you use the word that I'm choosing to do this and this and this today, as opposed to I have to do this today, I have to do that today, I have to do this today. All the difference is you are being in your power, choosing those things to do. So that's very different than the you being a victim of circumstance and I have to do this today, because somehow somewhere it's written you have to do this today.
So
So there's no such rules, there is no rule in the universe that says you have to do this today. It's just self-imposed rules, right? So instead of
yeah.
bringing in a concept like having and shoulding, and musting. We can bring words like what would I love? What would I enjoy? What would I want to choose to do today? Uh, Yes, very different sort of frame immediately connects you to your power, and you don't procrastinate. You end up doing the things that you choose to do because it's again you chose to do this as opposed to you must do this or you should do this, right? Yeah,
So just shifting the language that we're using to change our perspective to shape why we think a certain way and how that makes us feel. So that is powerful.
yeah,
And I know you also talk about mind transformation concepts and practices for greater mental freedom, which we just talked about that briefly. Can you go a little bit deeper into that to help the audience really liberate their mental state and clarity to really find that freedom that they so desire? Because sometimes our thoughts can cause us to be caged up.
yeah, exactly. So that's why we need to cultivate some of the habits in the thoughts too. Like, for example, one of the thought that is going to pay huge dividends along the line, along the future, is the idea that whatever happens, I am okay. You know, because there is a lot of not okay, not okay, not okay, this, not okay, that. I cannot handle this, I cannot handle that kind of stuff up there. So whatever happens, I am okay. Whatever I do, I am okay. Whatever I say, I'm okay. So giving that assurity that no matter what happens, I am okay. That creates a strong sense of groundedness. It completely disarms your threat alarm system, your threat response system, our fear mechanism, or fight and flight. It all fight and flight only gets activated whenever you have a thought process going saying, oh my god, I cannot handle this, it's terrible, oh what's going on, that's when you start to feel it. So yeah, if you are having a thought like, whatever happens, I am okay. Come on, it cannot just go up like that. It needs that fuel of you going along with that truth of no, I'm not okay. Oh my god, this shouldn't. I can I cannot handle this, and like really buying into that being the whole truth of who you are and how you are and all of that. That's when it becomes all too real.
Yeah.
Actually, uh, neuroscientifically, every thought and every emotion, every state that we experience, it actually the maximum time duration without you doing something with it, the amount of time actually it can last is 10 to 30 seconds maximum. You see, but we never feel like we are just experiencing something for just 10 to 30 seconds, do we?
No, not at all. You feel like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, this is taking so long. And it could
I
just
know.
be the alert that's going off in our
Uh,
body that's alert, alert, almost like life alert here in the US. I've slipped and fallen and I can't get up. And your
no,
body is like, okay, if you focus on your breathing, like your breathing calms your nervous system down, and then you're able to level set. So it's almost like you were saying that if you just transition and transform and realize, okay, I'm not really in that fight or flight mode, but everything's going to be okay, you start to see peace that enters in, you start to see calmness, you're not sweating, your heart is not racing and thumping, going boom, 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 boom. You're like, you start to like come
yeah,
back into the
yeah,
present.
because exactly, because your left brain is the seat of speech, and meaning like all when I'm speaking from my left brain. When I'm thinking, I'm speaking from my left brain. But when we are speaking about the right hemisphere, that's the place from where I see things, I hear, I feel, all of my sensory experiences is happening on the right. So if I say to myself, whatever happens, I am okay, this material, it will allow me to filter through the life situations and everything and match it up and see like, you know what? Yeah, whatever happens, I'm okay. Oh, that happened. I was okay after that. That happened. But, I was okay after that. Look at me. If I haven't handled all of that stuff that have happened before, I wouldn't be here. So definitely I have handled it. So I am okay, right? So you start to like pick up things like this. So whatever happens, I am okay. Once you are centered in that, once your attention, you prune your attention to go into that idea again and again. Now that's how you develop new neural connections. You know, the thing is, this stuff, our mental stuff, our thinking stuff, can either alarm the threat response system and or not. You know, so you firmly choosing that to be the whole truth of who you are. Whatever happens, I am okay. You choosing that to be the whole truth of who you are and how, in the world. All of a sudden, the threat response system is it can just finally disengage, because your attention is always you're directing to that instead of, oh, I cannot handle this, I cannot handle that. All of a sudden, you also find yourself not needing much control over in your life too, because we always overcompensate with the need for control for the lack of power that we feel in our own lives. Yeah.
Wow, that is a powerful statement. And so if y'all are listening and you wanted to know how do you do that by start telling yourself that you are okay. You are okay. Paint that narrative and your body will start to feel like you are okay. And that is going to disengage the fight or flight mode that Sanal was talking about. So you have to start to program yourself to believe that you are okay and know that you are okay. And that is going to disengage the disbelief that you are not okay and everything around you is going up in flames, metaphorically speaking.
And you don't have to even believe it. You can even play with the words. You can choose to believe. See, then all of a sudden it's within your power because you're choosing that. Choosing that as as the belief, right? As opposed to, I believe, then mind can be like, do you really believe? Yeah. Mind
Yeah.
can always. But if I'm saying, you know what, I'm just choosing to believe, is that all right? Mind doesn't have much to say about that, like, oh, is that true? Like, there's nothing to ask, is it true or not?
Yeah.
You know, but if I believe, or then it's like mind can sneakily come in for breaking that belief by asking, oh, but is that really true? You really believe? And,
And that
that's the way mind kind of try to dismantle some of the beliefs we are trying to bring in, new beliefs we are trying to adopt. Mind will just come and question it, and then we start looking for proof and evidence, and then mind will be like, you see, in that situation you were not able to do that, in that situation you are not okay. This, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm actually not okay, not really.
because
So
then
you
you
just
start to second
falls
guess
apart.
yourself and the thoughts
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
tell
you're
yourself,
filtering it out. You can always
yes.
filter out only moments of failure. You can always filter out only moments of mess ups, only moments of you doing things wrong, or things you letting people down, or it's always possible. But because and the attention is going to go and filter it out based on the story that you have. you know. So if your story is whatever happens, I am okay, is the story, guess what? The brain will have to go and look after all the past experiences and have to match to that story. You see?
Yes, that is so, so true. And that goes into the other point that you talk about, which is managing and organizing your mind for higher productivity. So if you
Yeah.
are okay, you know where you're going, you know what your purpose is, what causes you to grow towards your purpose, what causes you to take the purpose that you have and bring it into full captivity and walk it out, think it, believe it, see it, etc. Can you share how you help people really thrive with high productivity? Because we have people who are like, why do I procrastinate? Why can't I ever meet deadlines? Why? Whenever, if you just tweak and change certain things, then you will start to see yourself perform at optimal levels to achieve what you set out to do.
Yeah, procrastination usually stems out of that. It's we are not really clear when we are procrastinating. That's one of the things. We don't really know how much time we have to commit to completing that task. Let's just say, or that activity, or uh, we don't, and or we are looking at the activity as a whole, and it feels like a big task. Like, oh, that's that's a big task, you know. And either way, that makes you procrastinate. So the trick is to shrink it down, shrink the task, shrink the time. So you give yourself permission to do a little bit of that task, instead of, when you're thinking of, oh, I have to do the whole thing. No, you give yourself permission to do a little bit of that activity or a little bit of that task. Let's just say it's about me doing a workout, then I would be giving myself permission to do just 10 push-ups. That's it. I'm giving myself permission to do just 10 push-ups, and that's it. You know, and usually by the end of that 10 push-ups, my phenomenology and my state and everything would kind of be revved up to allow me to do more of it. Yeah. It's usually that 10 push-ups. That's the hard. But if you're thinking in terms of I have to do the whole workout, then you procrastinate. But if you think in terms of, oh, I'm just going to give myself permission to do 10 push-ups, kind of feels like a small commitment and you just do it. So another way is shrink the time. So you give yourself permission to do 5 minutes of that task instead of thinking of doing the whole thing. So that also makes it feel minds like, oh, that's small. I can do 5 minutes. Yeah. So by the time you do 5 minutes of that, you probably, oh, I like it. I, I'll probably just go on more with it and just kind of finish it. Why not? And just, you might be on your way. So that these are two ways you can avoid procrastinating by shrinking the task that you have to do and shrinking the time period, the commitment that you make doing that. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm going to give y'all a physical analogy for you to imagine it here. And I'm a big foodie. I love to eat. So imagine a huge burger. And I mean, whether it's an impossible burger, a turkey burger, a vegan burger, a big meaty burger, it's loaded with cheese, tomatoes, all the things that you like, right? And you're like, man, this burger is so huge. Think about cutting that burger in half. So now you have half of a burger and you're eating that. Once you finish that half of the burger, if you're still hungry, then eat the other half of the burger. And then before you know it, that burger that was so huge, you now have ate it all because you cut it in half and you ate it piece by piece by piece. So that is my physical analogy for those of you who are food lovers like me. You're like, okay, let me see what I could shrink down. Kind of similar to like if you're building a puzzle, work on it little by little by little each day. And before you know it, you have a masterpiece right in front of you. So we're going to park the conversation right there for now because we can't give you all of Sanal's goodies. And here's a point where you're going to find out more about him by getting connected to him and in his funnel. So Sanal, tell my audience how they could reach you. What is your website and where do you primarily hang out on social media, if anywhere?
Yeah. So I do my website where I do my coaching work is spirituallogic.com. So it's www.spirituallogic.com. SPIRITUALOGIC. So spiritual logic with one L for it. Yeah.
Awesome. And
Uh,
are you
and
on any
then
socials?
Yeah, yeah. So you can find the listeners can find me in the social media, in Instagram, in YouTube, with the handle Wisdom with Sanal, my first name right here, Wisdom with Sanal. And also all the um, people who are watching the podcast of Genesis, I have a gift for you guys. You can go to the website www.podcastgiftnow.com and put in your email, and you can get um, access to 8 or 9 hours of the professional recorded videos of talks that I have given here on variety of topics. And also, there is a master class for people who don't have much time in their hand. I could, uh, one second.
This is amazing, y'all. He's giving so many gems, and we want to thank Sonal for doing that. And we can't wait till he pops up with the other
Yeah,
information regarding the masterclass.
yeah. So it's a masterclass.spiritualogic.com.
Amazing. And all of these links will be in the show notes so you can connect with Sonal. And you also have them on your website, www.spirituallogic.com, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
This has been beautiful, and I want to thank you so much for sharing and holding space and dropping gems here on the podcast. The audience, make sure you connect with Sanal Bhanu Rajan. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast. We're on 40 plus audio platforms, and the video could be found on YouTube. Just type gems with Genesis Amaris Kemp. And remember, reviews are amazing. So let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear, or whatever on Apple Podcasts and leave a review. And that is how I grow and think about feedback as being a gift. It either grows you and develops you, or it challenges you. You decide because you're going to be the one writing it. So, signing out with peace, love, and lots of blessings. Miss Genesis Amaris Kent and my amazing guest today, Sanal Bhanu Rajan.